welcome back to the Dice Tower. I'm Tom Vasel, and this is
Melody.
My daughter. She's 10 years old. She loves games. I'm 34. I love games. But we have a bit different of taste, you'll see. We've been going through our top 100, and now we're in our top 20. Okay, so we'll do 5 of her games, and then 5 of mine, and then you can, of course, say that my 5 are more interesting and more fun. So anyway, let's get to the games.
Number 20, Hang 4.
In Hang 4, players are basically going through a deck of cards, trying to put together as many complete surfboards with dogs on them as they can. And there's all kinds of funny cartoon dogs involved in the game. They'll do this by rolling dice and such, and also by getting sand dollars, using these sand dollars to get more cards, or even sometimes steal cards from other players. But basically, it's trying to get cards in front of you, using your resources the best you can to get as many complete surfboards as you can.
I like this game because you're building surfboards for dogs. Oh, it's fun to think of dog surfing, and the artwork on the dogs is really cool, especially the Chihuahua and the girl dogs. And it's just a fun way to play building surfboards for dogs and trying to complete them, stealing cards from other players, and it's just a fun game to play. Number 20, Lost Cities.
Here's one of the old stalwarts of my list. 6 years running. Lost Cities, a great two-player game about exploration, although exploration really doesn't have much to do with the game at all. I like Lost Cities, but it's basically just playing a card down and trying to beat your opponent by playing the cards in a numbered ordered sequence, saving your best cards to last. But there's a very good tension in the air, and it's a game that you can play over and over and over again and still have a lot of fun with. Such a small game. Over a decade old now, but really packs a punch.
Number 19, Monopoly Tropical Tycoon.
Tropical Tycoon Monopoly is Melody's favorite game from last year. It's basically the same as most Monopoly games. As you can see, the properties are the same colors, but what makes this game different is a few things. One, the game comes with a DVD that is different and actually randomizes to have different events happen during the course of the game that will affect how players play. Each player also has a special ability which they can use. For example, the developer purchases all buildings at $25,000 less than the price, while the mayor gets $300,000 for passing go instead of $200,000. Players aren't necessarily going for money in this game. Instead, they're going for points. You get points for different activities, buying properties and such. And when you build properties, you can build houses and hotels like normal, but you can also build wharfs, you can build casinos, you can build restaurants, and these will possibly bring in different various amounts of money based on how the board is built up. Like the casino will bring you in random amounts of money, while the restaurant will bring you in money based on what's next door to it. So all that brings a complete different change to Monopoly.
I like this game because you get to move cool metal pieces around the board, and you get to watch little TV shows on the computer, on the DVD, and it's fun because when you watch TV, it's fun to learn different events, see what kind of money you get or how much money you get, and the bank and the idea is really cool. Number 19, Time's Up.
A great party game, Time's Up. Now, this is not the Time's Up that I've always showed in the past, but I do like the regular Time's Up. This is Time's Up Title Recall. In regular Time's Up, you're trying to guess different people throughout history, whether they're real or imagined. In Title Recall, you're guessing names of songs, of plays, of movies, of books. It just seems to work better, but either way, both games are hilarious. They take the best aspects of charades, and they mix it with guessing and giving clues, and it's hard to explain. You would actually have to watch a game of Time's Up to see just how fun it is. You play through, and the first 10 minutes you're like, oh, this is pretty fun. The second 20 minutes, or so the second round, you think this game is really funny. And the third round, you would like to think how funny the game is, but you're rolling around too much on the ground to really have a clue, because it's that very much funny. Time's Up, one of the funniest games ever.
Number 18, Pitch Car.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to bring Pitch Car from Korea with us because it's too heavy. Fortunately, though, for my sake and for Melody's, we have some video to show you of the game So let's take a look at this game that's shown up on both Melody and my list.
I really like this game because you're flicking the car on the track, and that was fun too, making the track, doing it any way you want it. And when you flick the car, you're like, okay, I don't want to flick it off the track, because if I do, I'm going to stay behind again. It's just fun.
Are you an expert at the game?
No.
Battle Line.
Number 18, Battle Line.
Battle Line is another game that's been on my list for quite a long time, and that's because Battle Line is a fantastic game. This is a pretty big box, and when we open it up, there really isn't a lot in here. Just a bunch of small little red tokens and a deck of cards, and that is all that's in the game. And in fact, if you worked really hard at it, you probably could take a regular deck of cards and modify it down, perhaps. But the thing about Battle Line is it just works so well. On your turn, you place a card, you draw a card. You place a card, you draw a card. You're placing cards in groups, 3 cards in each group on your side of the table, and you want your 3 cards to be stronger than the 3 cards that your opponent has played. Very tactical, but at the same time, long decisions to be made as you decide whether I can play this card and hope I get another card in my hand, or just go for what I have now. It's a lot deeper than it sounds. If you think it's all luck, play someone who's good at it, and you'll find yourself losing more often than not. A very neat little card game from GMT Games, Battle Line.
Number 17, Mystery Express.
Mystery Express is a deduction game, so I'm not even sure why Melody can play it since she's only 10, and it says ages 12 and up. But regardless,
I still played it before and I won.
I know.
No, actually,
each player moves their detective around this game, and you're doing that by drawing cards as the game progresses. And there's 2 of each card. So, for example, if you see 2 of the passenger car, then you know that the murder was not committed in the car. The game has some similarities, a clue in which you're trying to figure out the location of the murder, you're trying to figure out who did the murder, why they did the murder, what weapon they used, and then what time the murder occurred on. The time element is done through a bit of real time, and there's a lot of memory involved, but mostly it's trying to pass the cards around in the most strategic way possible and learn as much information as you possibly can.
I like this game because it's a mystery game. I really like mystery books, games, and even TV shows. It's fun to play because you're moving in this train, trying to figure out clues and other stuff of what happened and what murder occurred, and you're trying to get the right answer to win, but it's also kind of luck because you're trying to memorize what the stuff was, and it's just a fun game to play. Number 17, Cash and Gun.
I think we all like to play with guns at some point, so Cash and Guns is a very, very entertaining game. Whether you're playing with the expansion that lets you use swords, or you have the shotgun or the regular guns, Cash and Guns is a game in which you're dividing up the loot after a bank robbery or something or other, and you're all pointing guns at one another, trying to figure out who is bluffing, who actually has a bullet in their gun. And it's hard to explain. It's not probably the most pleasant situation in real life, but as a game, it's fun, and it works with everyone, not just guys with timid people, timid old people I've seen play this game. Kids play the game. Everyone has fun just pointing fake guns, of course, at one another, or even throwing nunchucks at one another. Or I guess it's a star. Anyway, the game is just a blast to play. And it's one of those games that you actually almost have to see being played just to see how fun it is. If it sounds too silly for you, then I wonder perhaps at your even liking board games, because this is a game that everyone is going to like playing. Cash and Guns.
Number 16, Cat and fish.
Cat and Mouse shows a fishing area where players will be taking their boats and moving around in this fishing area, getting different fish, and there's different fish in different rings that you'll be searching, and each fish is worth a different amount depending on what season it is, spring, summer, fall, or winter. And so players are doing that. They're doing that by placing action tokens on this board and picking fishing or sailing or selling or buying. They can get special abilities that will make their boat faster or be able to fight off monsters which show up occasionally. And so the game is a worker placement game, but it's one specifically designed at children.
Number 16, Twilight Pyramid 3. I like this game because you're fishing for fish, all different types, and chasing other cats with typhoons and oil. It's a fun game because you are selling and buying things. It's fun to get new things, get rid of your old things. It's just a fun game to play.
Fantasy Flight puts out a lot of games in what we call these coffin-sized boxes. Twilight Imperium is one of 2 games that actually deserves such a box. Maybe 3 games, but this game is heavy. I can barely, well, I guess I'm not that weak, but still it's a heavy game. But be that as it may, Twilight Imperium 3 is great. And let me tell you why. Because Twilight Imperium 3 is a space exploration game. It's a space building game. Have you played Alpha Centauri? This is this in a board game. Have you played Civilization? This is Civilization in space. Have you played Risk? This is Risk, except it's good. Have you played Axis and Allies? Forget it. Twilight Imperium 3 has politics, has building a space empire, has technology. It's long. It takes about 8 hours to play. But it is fun to play. It's an experience you'll never forget. So, okay, I think I said enough good things about this game. Twilight Imperium 3. We're getting closer and closer to that top 10. We're only 5 games away now. These games are just really fantastic. And, you know, when you look at these games that you've seen here, and you say, well, that game was number 19. That's great. That's great. The difference between 19 and 4 isn't really as much as it may appear to be. Again, thank you for watching. Again, thank you for clicking the different links around here. Again, thank you for all those who send us emails and ask about the different games. Next time, numbers 15 through 11. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Melody.
And you've been watching
The Dice Tower.
Tune into our next show for more Top 10 gaming goodness, or check out our website at www.thedicetower.com for more reviews and Top 10 lists. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.